Hello everyone, my name is Eli Ruzdar. I would like to dedicate this video to this whole entire humanity, especially those who are the true seekers of the truth. The reason I decided to make this video is because these common questions that I get as daily basis actually, that even if I know that I am the consciousness, how come I'm not still free? Why am I suffering? So this is very typical question I get all the time. People had been in this path for so many years. They try different gurus and they listen to many videos and books and all that, and they get some concept of that. Then they believe that they know that there is something here. It exists as consciousness. Consciousness is here. How come there was no conviction there yet? So, and then when the time comes, the events happens, they don't know how to handle that and they suffer. So this video is for those people. And then I would bring you some new authentic point of view so that you can see it for yourself. In other words, this video should invoke that intuitive part of you so you can see it intuitively and know the truth for yourself based on your own experience and set your mind free once and for all. Now, in this video, I like to start with this particular story, and this story revolves around the 3 states of experience that everybody has. It's like waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. Everybody experienced these 3 states. And I start with this story because it is so profound. The message is amazing. If you can just get it, you can get it right there and there, what this message is all about. And then I would like to elaborate that. Now, as I'm talking, it's just, this comes from my heart, and then I would just present it to you. I hope that I can cover this whole puzzle exactly the way I want you to see, and there are no holes in it. And that's why if I feel that I need to elaborate that, I would definitely have another video, and I already put all my thoughts in the writing, so I can go ahead and step by step read it to everyone, to the audience. So this way that I don't leave anything in there unknown. So hopefully both of them is very helpful for anyone who's listening. The story of King Janaka starts like this. There is this king that one night he sleeps, and then as he was sleeping, he hears the noise that all the soldiers are coming and telling him that their country has been invaded by the enemy. So he gets up and he joined those soldiers, and they go and fight. And in this fight, they get all defeated. So he got caught, and he was told that he's not going to get killed, but he has to leave the country. So King Janaka, in this dream, he was desperate. He was very tired and wounded. He goes to some houses to get some food and water. Nobody would give it to him because this country now belongs to another leader and king. So he had to leave the country to the neighboring country. As he goes there, he sees this area that there was like people feeding the poor, like a soup kitchen. So he gets a bowl and he stays in the line. And then once it comes to his turn, they said that the food is there's no more food for him. He just begged them because he was very tired. So they said, okay, we're gonna put some water into the bottom of the pot and we'll just give you something. So that's what they did, and they put it in his pot. And as he was drinking that, accidentally this bowl falls, and everything just pours on the dust. And this king starts crying and rolling on the dust and suffering and screaming. And all of a sudden, he noticed that he's screaming on his bed. And he's sitting on his bed. Now, the only thing that comes in his mind is that true or this true? This king was a philosopher. He was not just a normal person, say, oh, okay, thank goodness, this was a dream. He was a philosopher. He just sat down and he kept saying, is that true or is this true? So when his wife comes to him, and he keeps saying the same thing. She asked him how he's doing, how is your day? And he kept saying, is that true or is this true? So for the longest time, anytime anybody approached, he kept saying, is that true or is this true? Until one day, a wise man comes into this country, and he heard about that, and they for some accidental purpose, this wise man comes into his palace, and because he knew exactly what was the problem. So this is how he asked this king. He says, okay, king, how are you doing? He kept saying, is that true or is this true? So somehow he asked him to see how he does. So he starts giving him this story to the wise man. When wise man heard this, he said, when you were in that dream, on the dust, crawling in that dust, and with all that pain and suffering and humiliation, was this experience that you have right now as a king and sitting in your throne, was this there? He said, no. He said, okay, now that you are in the throne and in this experience, and with all these soldiers and this kingdom and your palace, is that experience of humiliation and all that, is that here? He said, no. He said, okay, king, then neither that is true or this is true. He said, what? So what do you mean? That means nothing is true? He was in shock. Then the wise man said, even though neither of them were true, when you were in that dream, did you experience that dream? He said, yes. He said, how about this one, this dream? Is this, even though it is not true, are you experiencing it? He said, yes, I am experiencing it. He said, neither that is true or this is true, but you are the truth. You are the truth. Now, this is the point of this story. Which you is he talking about? Is he referring to the body-mind you, the person who is in the dream and now in this waking state? Or he's talking about this you as an ultimate truth who witnessed both of them, the waking and the dream state? Which one is that? Once he mentioned that you are the truth, that clicked for this king. And he noticed that who I am, who experienced them both, I have been always here. And neither of those experiences are true. They just came, it resides, and just left and closed. So the most important thing is not the state, is not the experience. The ultimate truth is who am I in that experience? So that's the point of this story. So I'm going to revolve around that because and elaborate that a little bit. Now, for this analysis, I like to start with this very common experience that everybody has. Everybody experiences waking, dreaming, and deep sleep. This method that I'm talking about does not need you to have a deep meditation and a state of samadhi, or you work on your energy system and open up your kundalini. None of them. This method is a typical experience of everyone. Everyone experiences waking, dreaming, and then sleep, and then dream, and then there's a state that there is no dream at all. Now, I just start with the typical point of view, is that there are two major misconceptions in the humanity, in the view of the humanity. I would explain that to you. Number one, I was born into this world. I grew up in this world. I'm gonna get old, I'm gonna get sick, and I'm gonna die. That is one misconception. The second one is, I wake up, I go to sleep, I dream, I have a deep sleep, and then I wake up again. So two misconceptions I'm gonna point out to you, and we're gonna talk about that. Now, the first one is that, and the second one, both of them are together, I'm gonna mention, but mostly on the waking, dreaming, deep sleep. It seems like there is this world that exists already, okay, prior to me being born. Then I'm born in this world, and then I function in this world, and then I would die, and this world still stay there. Okay, that is the conception, misconception. The second one is, this world is already there. I wake up, my waking state happens in this world, and then when I sleep, this world still is there. I go and have a dream, and then I experience that dream state, and then at the one stage that I get just blanked out, I don't see anything, I don't feel anything, so that's deep sleep. Now, this is the typical experience it seems like is happening. And it seems like the waking state, dream state, and deep sleep is happening all sequentially in the waking state. In other words, they are happening in time. Like first is a waking, then you sleep, and then there is a deep sleep. So they are happening in time. And also it seems like when I wake up as a person, my state, waking state, is happening in the world. The world is already there prior to my state. So world is prior to this state. That's how it seems like. And the time and space, everything was there prior to my waking state. The important thing in here is that what I'm trying to show you, a new vision, a real vision. Now, how do we experience this actually? What is my actual experience? In order to do that, I would like to ask you to, for a few minutes that you're listening to this video, try to give up this idea, this point of view, that this waking state is reality. Dream is the imagination, and deep sleep is just the unconscious. Because that's the typical idea of everybody. They think that this waking state is real, or everything with the whole world, time, space, and all that. The dream is just an imagination, and deep sleep is just the unconscious state. For 1 minute, for time that you are listening, try to give up this idea that the waking state is the reality. Okay, that is just that. And try to listen to this message first. See if you understand what I'm trying to say. That's number one. Then you need to understand, and to make sure that you understand correctly. After you hearing it, make sure that you understand this correctly. Excuse me. Then after that, you need to definitely go in silence and contemplate on that, so that this message invokes that intuition in you, so you can be able to see it correctly yourself. Because don't believe what I have to say. What I have to say, this is my truth. This is not your truth, and I cannot transfer that to you. But that intuition in you should be able to invoke and to be able to see. So for 1 minute, I want you to give up this idea that I wake up, the waking state is the reality, dream is just an imagination, and deep sleep is unconscious. Now, and then see these three states from the right, correct, the way that you see it appears to you. That means the actual experience. So in order to do that, as we know, when we are in the world, it just seems like there's a time and space. So when I wake up, it happens in the way that wake up time, then the dream time, and then deep sleep. They are happening in like a form of horizontal, in time and space, horizontally. And my view is horizontal because my view is a point of view of the waking state, that the waking state is correct. So this whole thing is happening in sequential, in time. Okay? Now, I want you to give up this view, which you have right now. And then you change your view 90 degrees above, exactly 90 degrees, like this way. This is the way you should be seeing the states. See if you can do that. Take this position, this vision position that I'm having right now. And you need to, this position is above, is risen above this horizontal. It's just looking at it from this angle. See, from this angle I'm looking right now. Okay, I am as a viewer. This is how, see if you can see it this way. My actual experience is not that. It is like, in a waking state, all of a sudden, in front of me, I see a states open up like that. This whole thing is a states opens up in my awareness. Okay, in this state, there is this all of a sudden this body and the mind and five senses, and then they are all in this world, and then this world have all the objects and the people and time and space. They are all objects in my waking state. They are happening in the waking state. Okay? And then after a while, I noticed that this waking state completely closes like that, completely, and vanishes as if never existed. Then I noticed that there is another state opens up. I call it the dream state. Just like that, exactly like that, opens up. Dream state. In the dream state, my dream body and my dream mind and the dream world and the dream time and space is happening. They're all there, which is nothing to do with the waking state. The dream body is not the same as the dream state, the waking state. The dream mind is not the same. And the dream world is completely different. So that dream also opens up, and then all of a sudden I see that is completely closes and then completely vanishes in front of me. And then there are some stage that I notice that there is absolutely nothing happening. There is no object, there is no state. There is only I exist. Exactly the feeling of deep sleep. Just imagine, close the eyes and imagine how the deep sleep was. There is no time, no space. It's absolute peace. No fear, no anxiety, no limitation. Always the same. No time. Deep sleep is not in the state, it's a state. It doesn't start, it doesn't end. This is always here. And that is what's happening. And then all of a sudden, in this condition, this is in this, I don't call it a state, in this being, existence that I have, again, this opens up, this waking state that opens up again with all the objects which is in it, and then after a while again closes, and then the dream opens up and closes, and then there's nothing else happening. Now, let's go back again now to the states, how that they open, and what is the misconception. Let's consider the dream state. When the dream opens up like that, right? the dream state opens up, and then the dream world opens up. The dream time, dream objects, dream people, and the dream time and space. You cannot, please pay attention, we cannot experience the dream state, if dream world, if the dream state doesn't open. One more time. The dream state opens up, then the dream world can be experienced. You cannot experience the dream world without the dream state. So which one is the prior? Dream state or the world, dream world? Obviously the dream state is prior. Okay, now, same thing in the waking state. In the waking state needs to open up so that the waking world opens up in it with the time and space in it, with all the objects in it, with this body, mind in it. If the waking state doesn't open, the waking mind, the waking world cannot be open. Nobody can experience the waking world without waking state. So, which one is the prior, waking state or the world? So, in here, very obviously we can see the world is in the state. The state is not in the world. Same thing in the sleep, in the dream. The dream world, the dream state needs to open up so that the dream world can be experienced. The dream world is in the dream state. If when the dream state closes, the dream world also closes. So, in the dream, in the waking state, in the world, we have time and space also. The time and space is the objects belong to the world. It is in the world. So the time is, the world also is in the state. So if the world is in the state, the time and space is also in the state. The state is beyond time and space because time and space is happening in the waking state. When waking state dissolves, disappears, closes, the world and time, space, and all that, they dissolve. So the misconception that we have that the waking state happens in the world is already there, is completely misconception. There is no world if the waking state doesn't open. Please contemplate on that. The world is depending upon the waking state. The world as a stand-alone cannot be experienced, does not exist if the waking state doesn't open. Now, when I'm talking about waking state, not for the egoic person who is living in there. I'm talking about the presence, the existence that is here right now, based on the story that I just told you. So the waking state needs to open up in order to be, everything else needs to be experienced. The world can be experienced. The world cannot be experienced without the waking state. Same thing with the dream state. The dream state needs to be open for the dream world to open up. So if the dream state closes, everything collapses. Nothing is going to be there. Now, this is extremely important. So you have to realize, so then that the state is prior to the world. In waking and dreaming, the state has to be first and the world. Now that we know that how these states are appearing and disappearing, we have to now find out who is the watcher of the states. Who is the observing the states? Is it the egoic self in the waking state, like little person in the mind that is functioning in the world and all that? It is happening to that person, that ego? Because that ego, when the waking state closes, that ego, that person is first of all in the waking world. when the waking world collapses, when the waking state closes, that ego completely vanishes, completely disappears, because in the deep sleep doesn't even exist. Now, same thing in the dream. When the dream opens up, that ego cannot really smuggle itself to the dream. In the dream, there is a dream ego, and the dream body and dream people are there. So to whom these states open up and closes down? Now, this question should invoke very important aspect of you, that is your intuition. Intuitively, you should be able to see. Intuition means this, not using just the mind and intellect and how smart you are. It is about some intuitive aspect of you can see and knows things, okay, without the use of the logic and the mind. You use the mind to listen to my message. However, to realize this fact, this is a fact, this is not just a story and fiction. To realize that fact, that intuitive part of you have to see that when this state of waking opens up, it opens up to me. Me as who? Not the egoic person who is in the world, in the waking state. To me as the ultimate truth. That I'm always here. This thing opens up in front of me and closes in front of me and completely vanishes. And then the dream opens up, they call it dream, and then that completely vanishes. And then there's a state that nothing is happening. That state of deep sleep that they call it deep sleep, that is the self. That deep sleep that everybody experiences is the ultimate truth. In that sleep, I don't know anything. I don't see anything. In the sleep, everybody just close your eyes and just imagine how the sleep was. I don't hear anything. I don't remember anything. I don't forget anything. But I exist. Pure existence. Pure consciousness and pure bliss. I can explain that to you. Pure existence means my existence is beyond time and space. That means the time and space, because the time and space is in the state. When the state closes, the time and space closes. My presence is beyond the state. I am prior to the state. So my existence is beyond the time and space, which can be experienced in deep sleep. So the existence in no time and no space. Pure consciousness, I am conscious. But this is not the pure consciousness, is not the consciousness that it is happening in the waking state. Let me explain to you. That is the crucial thing. If as a person, you wake up in the waking state and you think that you are a person, there is this, as soon as the waking states open up from this absolute point of view, the pure consciousness gives the light to the body and the mind and all senses, so that this whole system can function and interact with the waking world. This consciousness is reflected consciousness. It's not the pure absolute consciousness. The reason is when this state closes, let's say when this state waking closes and the dream state opens up, this consciousness completely vanishes. And then the dream state opens up, and in the dream state there's again another reflection consciousness in the dream. Neither of them are ultimate, because everybody knows that, let's say if you become unconscious, something hit into your head, and then all of a sudden, that unconscious is the reflecting consciousness that is just wiped away. Or when everything closes, when this waking state completely closes, that consciousness dissolves. So when you go sit in front of the guru, and then the gurus in spirituality say, oh, okay, you say, oh, who am I? And then they say, oh, you are a consciousness, you are this awareness consciousness that's here and now. This consciousness that they are referring to is not the pure consciousness. It's just a reflected consciousness. So as long as you are in this waking state, and in this waking world, and you believe that this is reality, when your whole body and mind is stuck in this waking state, you cannot see that. You are unable to see that. So therefore, when you identify with that reflecting consciousness, that is you don't see the whole picture. You don't see that this whole world is not really ultimately true, because it only appears to me as the waking state opens up, and it disappears in me. So that's why you don't feel free, because the freedom is not in there. As long as you're stuck in the waking state, okay, and you function from there, and your point of view is that the waking state is the reality, there would not be any conviction, because you can't be able to see. Now, one more important thing, the ego that is in the waking state, that ego sees the states? Just pay attention. That ego is unable to see the states opening and closing. That ego, because that ego is stuck in the world, and the world is in the state. If ego is in the world and world is in the state, the ego cannot see that, because it's in it. Okay, so you need to rise above that, above the state, so you can see the states, how they open and how they close. This is a 90-degree shift of the vision. I hope that you can see that. This is the key. This is the key. Okay, so the ego in there, that is stuck in the waking state, no matter how much he tries, read this book and that, videos and spirituality and books and a guru and pay money and all that, is not gonna understand the ultimate, because your position is wrong. Your position is in time and space. The view is in time and space. You're stuck in there. Okay, so this position, this view needs to change to the real view. Now, this is not just the imagination. This is not something like, something mystical. Everybody should be able to see that. That is the everyone experience, actually. But you don't see that. You didn't pay attention to that. That this waking state opens up in me, appears in me, actually, and then disappears in me. That's how it is. And completely collapses. It's not it's going to hang in there somewhere. Okay? It collapses completely. Then the dream state opens up, and then with all the experience, and then it collapses just like that. And then there is nothing is opening up and closing. So I, as an existence, as this ultimate existence, I am not changing. I am just like the way that I was in deep sleep. Deep sleep is not really deep sleep. From the point of view of the waking state, that you think that waking is correct, that is considered deep sleep. In reality, that is the self, that is actual self, which is the common denominator of all this. It's always that is here. This is I am here. Then there's a state opens up in front of me and then closes completely. I'm still there. So self with the dream, and then dream closes. Then there's a self, and then dream, and then closes, and then there's nothing happens. Now, I am independent from this opening and closing. You have to realize that. Whether or not these states open or close, appear or disappear, it's not affecting on me. I'm always here as this existence that is always here. So coming and going of the, appearing or disappearing of the state is nothing to do with, doesn't affect me. I am not depending upon the states. The states are depending upon me. If I am not here, the state cannot open up. And if I'm not here, the world cannot be opened up. So this is very radical. If the whole world, which is in the whole waking state, it happens because of my presence in here. If I'm not here, which is not possible, this whole waking state and dream state will not happen at all. So their presence, opening and up, appearance and disappearance is only depending upon me. I am the only reality. And then when I want to know myself better, feel myself better, everybody knows that how deep sleep is. In there, it's absolute peace, timeless, okay, limitless, fearless, lacking nothing. And that is my true nature. It's like the pure existence and pure consciousness that I am, and the pure bliss that I am is my true nature. It's like a fire, okay? The fire has the heat and the light. These are the nature of the fire. So the nature of this existence that I am is this pure consciousness that is here and the pure bliss. When I say pure, you have to understand the definition. Definition of the pure consciousness means this consciousness is not depending upon any other object to exist. It doesn't need the mind or five senses to be. This consciousness is pure, inherited in existence that I am. I am existence, but also conscious, but not conscious of something. Because when the waking state opens up, the consciousness reflects on the object, so therefore it's conscious of something. Okay, but when the waking state closes, this consciousness, reflected consciousness, dissolves. Okay, so but I am pure consciousness the way that it is in the deep sleep. In the deep sleep. So I am pure consciousness, and also I am pure bliss. Pure bliss means that the bliss means the bliss of non-duality, bliss of no other. There is only me. There is nothing else. There is no world. There is no states. There is none of that. None of that is true. And then the beauty of this is that this analysis would completely negate everything that we just superimposed. At the beginning of my conversation, I mentioned to you that let's assume that there is this waking, dreaming, and deep sleep, that three states. Once I realize who I am, this waking state, it appears in me and disappears in me completely. And then the same as dream state, appears and disappears. So these states that appearing and disappearing, they are not real because they are coming and going. They are coming and going. I am the one who is constantly ever present in here. And it doesn't matter, again, what experience I have in this waking and the dream. The most important thing is who is the experiencer, who is the watcher of the states, of these two states. And then after a while, when you notice that this state is just appearing in me and disappearing in me, okay? So if something appears and disappears, it really cannot be ultimately true. The truth is that which is always here and unchanging and ever present. If something that comes and goes, opens up and closes down, cannot be ultimately real. So there is no states really. I am the only existence, ever present, timeless, spaceless. And that is what I am. That is the ultimate truth. I am this. And this conviction has to be there so that once I'll be able to see this angle that I am, and I'm observing the states, then everything in the states, and I'm observing them all, but yet I notice that none of them is really ultimately true because they're appearing and disappearing in me. I notice that there is only me. Me not as a person. Me as a person has complete different point of view. The point of view is that this time and space, and I am there, now I'm trying, and all of a sudden you realize that I exist without any object. No state should open and close for me to exist. And notice that Everything else, like when I noticed in my deep sleep, let's say, that I am complete peace, that bliss that's my true nature, I would have to refuge all my body, mind, and in on and centered my on in my own existence that is right here and right now, and look at these states exactly from my own point of view, that how it opens and closes. This point of view, if it clicks really good, it would override that old point of view that I am this person, I have this dream, I was born, I die. That completely gets override, because in this view, I have been never born. Just close the eyes, imagine that deep sleep. Nobody is born. Nobody is seeking for the truth. Nobody realized the truth. Nobody's born, nobody's dying. So all there is I am. I am that. And that's about it. One and only. One and only. And everything else collapses. Everything else negates, because states are not real. They are just appearance, appearing and disappearing. Now, some people may have argued that, oh, this is so ridiculous, how that the waking state cannot be real. It seems so real to me. I touch this table, I drink this water, and I eat this food. They're all real. I can feel it, touch it. And then also, it is continuous, because when I go back, going to my bed, in the sleep, when I get up in my bed. If I have some food in the refrigerator, I can go and get my food in from the fridge. So this has to be real. The answer is to those questions is that when you talk like this point of view is from the point of view of the waking state. When you are stuck in the waking state and believe that this waking state is only reality, and your vision is horizontal, that's how you see it. As I mentioned, this point of view is happening. This mind who thinks like that is stuck in the waking state. So when you're stuck in there, that's how you see. Okay? In this video, I'm trying to help you to just drop that point of view temporarily, okay? So that you can be able to adapt to this vision that I just introduced to you, and see if it makes sense, okay? Can you see that, first of all? Just mentally, can you see that? And then you have to contemplate, understand the message, and then contemplate on this over and over again, over and over. You need to listen to this video numerous times and stop, pause and listen, and listen to the whole thing from beginning to the end. And then over and over, so that this whole thing clicks and invokes that intuitive part of you. Because you have to see this intuitively. Because if you refer just to the mind and intellect, the mind and intellect are in the state, in the waking state, in the world. They are not able to see the state actually, but actual state, the way that you as an ultimate truth is seeing it. So you need to be able to drop that point of view and then rise above this in 90-degree angle, so you can be able to see. Okay? So this is, in a nutshell, the actual correct point of view. Once your point of view is corrected, you know yourself as an ultimate truth, which is beyond the states. Beyond this. Beyond means I am not in the states. Before, I always thought that I wake up, I am in the world, and I am in this state. Waking state, I am in it. But you are not in this state. You are above and beyond this state. You're observing, you're witnessing this state. So this position, this view, is not the view of an egoic me in the waking state. It's not that, because that ego is stuck. It is stuck in the waking world. Cannot be able to see that. Those five senses in there, the mind cannot see that, because they are in the waking state. So we need to rise above that to be able to see this. So once that is clicked, the duality ceases to exist. And you'll notice very easily when you look at the dream world, let's say, and you have all this dream, people were there, time and space, everything is there. But when the dream completely closes, you will notice that there was no duality. There was only you. All those people and everything that you saw is just part of the dream, right? Same as the waking state. When it opens up, everything seems to be real, the people, objects, and all that. But once this closes, there was only you, which is closes in front of you. So therefore, I have to know what is the correct vision. How do I have to see? Always the way you have to see is the way that the actual things happening, actual states are happening in front of you. And this view, once you have this view, you are in your position and you function. And even if these states are open and closed now, your position and your view would not change. It would always look at the states just the way it should be, not the way that you think it is. So therefore, this method is very, very useful again, and it can really be a life changer for those who are the true seekers of the truth, who are so desperately looking and have this burning desire for the truth. This message is not for anyone, for everyone. This message again is for the true seeker who's looking to see what is the ultimate truth. I hope it was useful. If you have any questions, please put it in the comments, or you can send me the email. I can interact with you, clear your thoughts. I would like to also mention that I'd like to have another video that because I gather all my thoughts in writing. Some people are better, they can understand things that they can read and go and understand. So all those writing, the notes that I took, I'm gonna have another video and I'm gonna read through every line by line so that I would not leave out anything unknown. So this whole entire picture opens up to you so you can see it, the big picture. And again, if there are questions, you can contact me. This service that I have is for humanity. The people who know me, they know that there is no charge, there is nothing to be sold or any of that. My email address is my first initial E, last name is R-O-O, Z like zebra, D like David, A-R. My website is meditation, Irfan, E-R-F like Frank, A-N, meditationirfan.com. And also you can see some of my videos in the website of Buddha at the Gas Pump, by Mr. Rick Archer. So if there are questions, please do not hesitate to send the email. We can just, and also if I see you desperately looking and trying to understand that, and then still some kind unknown questions, I'll be more than happy to help you. Wishing you all the very best and peace.